Hi, church. It is good to be with you again today, and I want to share an update with you that's going to give you a picture of where we've been as a church and also a little bit about where we're going and what we know. And as many of you have experienced, it's been really hard to know what's going to happen. We still live with a tremendous amount of unknown, but we have peace in that uncertainty, and that's kind of been the heart of what we've been sharing ever since the pandemic shutdown came to BC. And so I want to take you back almost 2 months to the day of this filming. We made a decision on March the 15th to go with online church. The government was shutting things down, and we made that decision at that point. And boy, it was a crash course in learning. And I want to just say, first of all, a big thank you to the GT creative team, our worship team, our film crew, our technical crew, our audio, all of that, because they have just worked so hard in order to provide the best possible experience that you could have in your home. And I'm very pleased with what we're providing through Church Online. We have been a church of multiple campuses, and it's interesting, now we are a church of multiple online platforms. So if people were to say, well, what are your campuses right now? Well, we'd have to say that they are Facebook Live, Church Online, and then, of course, YouTube. And those are the three places where people are finding our content. I've been receiving feedback from some of you. I know that it's difficult to make a transition like this. And a lot of us are involved in church because we love the connection that we feel with people. And so if that connection with people is broken down, it makes it difficult for us. We like being in the seat with someone else. We like worshiping together, of course. And so I'm not suggesting that this is replacing our gatherings, but in this time, it's been amazing to see how God has used what we've been putting online. The quality has been excellent. I've heard from people elsewhere who actually do watch a lot of church and who have been on a number of different online church experiences. And I've received really good feedback about what we're providing. It's unique. It's right for the moment. It's true to who we are as a church. And so I'm really thankful for that. I want you to know that it has been an effective time for us. You know, we have a vision as a church to help people take the next step in their spiritual journey by revealing the life-giving message of Jesus. And I just want you to know that that continues to happen, even through our online platform. You know, I have a heart to reach the island and to expand our reach as a church community. And for me, that meant church planting, and that's been the case. We've planted our 2 campuses, other than this main campus, the Victoria Central Campus. We've planted 2 campuses, and our hope was to plant a third in September. So we have that vision in our hearts. But it's been amazing to see what God does in His way. And so, you know, I'm pleased to share with you that on a really good Sunday, the GT movement would have about 2,000 people in church, and that would be a really great Sunday. But I can tell you our average online is between 3,000 and 4,000 views, which is significantly larger reach than what we were getting on a Sunday. I can also share with you that beyond those views, on Easter Sunday, we had just under 6,000 views. And when I say that, what I mean is people logging on and taking a look or scrolling past our content and pausing for a moment. It doesn't necessarily mean that all those people are staying the whole time, but they're being exposed to what we're all about and what we're offering. And the opportunity is there for them to stay. So we're in people's homes. We're there a lot more than we were before as people are in this time of pandemic. But it also does mean that there's a greater, wider reach. And so we're really, really excited about that. We're thrilled about that impact and know that regardless of what happens in the future, we're going to have to stay with a strong online presence because people need that, and it's a tool to reach our community. And so I'm also happy to report that every time that we gather online on a Sunday, we have a number of responses. So we have between 4 and 5 responses of people texting life to the number that comes up on the screen. That's a salvation text. And we're grateful for that. It's a marker. It lets us know that at least 4 or 5 people every single Sunday are making a decision, a significant step toward Jesus. And because we celebrate steps, it's also important to know that every single Sunday, people are filling out the I'm New online card. And that's another step for people. And so I want you to know we're reaching new people and we're seeing people come to Christ. And all that's being done through our online platform. I think one of the major questions that people ask about online experiences are, can you actually create relationship online? And I know for some of us, we resist that, and that's not what we want. We prefer face-to-face, of course. But is it possible? And the answer is yes. What we're seeing is tremendous. We're seeing our small groups way more consistent. Some small groups like mine that used to meet only once or twice a month, usually twice a month, are now meeting every single week. Why? Well, because we have time, we have space, and it's online. So if our kids are fussy, or if we're having an off night, or if something happened and we're late, we don't have to miss. We just tune in at 7 o'clock, and everyone's there, and we talk and we share. I found it extremely meaningful. I talked to one young adult woman whose small group went from 5 people to 30 people because people now have the time. They have the margin. And so it's created consistency. And what is it that we really value in relationship? We value that face-to-face contact where we're looking at someone and someone's looking back at us. And, although it's only 2-dimensional and we wish it was 3-dimensional, it's real. We're seeing that it's real, and we're seeing people get honest. We're seeing people experience moments of prayer together and support and love and words of encouragement and affirmation. Isn't that what relationship is about? And so we're seeing God use this time in very significant ways. And I'll talk more about small groups in just a little while. I want to give you a look at our finances over the last 2 months, just so that you can know. Obviously, March was a time of panic and a bit of chaos for everyone, and we really felt that at the church. March was significantly down financially for us, so much so that the leadership team had to respond quickly. And so we slashed $1 million out of our budget based on our projects and several other things that we were going to be doing. And also a significant number of our staff were moved to EI. By the end of March, 16 of our staff were moved to EI. And so through the month of April and now into May, that continues. Our hope is to begin to add our staff back as our finances recover and we figure out how we're going to do this. There's really 2 things that we consider when we're thinking about bringing staff back on or keeping staff. And that's number 1, do we have the finances? And number 2, does it look like proper stewardship? In other words, are we using those finances properly? Does that person actually have a job to do right now? Because if they don't, it's not fair that they would be paid during a time when many people are losing their jobs and not being paid. I know that some of you continue to give, but you give out of great need, not out of a sense of abundance or overflow. And so I'm really mindful of that. We're really thankful for your generosity and your faithfulness in giving. And we want you to know that we're stewarding that well. I want you to also know that those staff members who have been moved to EI, it's not as though we've just released them. We continue to connect with them. They're invited to every one of our team meetings, and many of them are continuing to just be involved and be a part of the church. We also made the decision that we were going to cut out of every tier in the organization. So all the way up to the very top level, our executive team, and all the way down through, there were people who were moved to EI. We didn't want it to just be, the people who make the least amount of money. As we've seen in our society, it seems like a lot of the people who are losing their jobs are the ones who made the least amount of money. But for us, we knew that we needed to move quite a few dollars out of our staffing budget. And so to do that, we cut in every single tier of our organization. And so we're looking after those people as well, because not only are they receiving their EI benefits, or at this time, the CERB, but we're also topping them up to 85% of their wage. And so that top up was an agreement between the church and Service Canada. They're aware of that. We're aware of that. We're reporting that. But it provides provides another level of financial support for those who have had to move to EI. And again, our hope is to move many of them back, and we'll do that as we can and as work provides the opportunity to do that. I do want to say that April showed a strong rebound from March. So March was difficult. March was very, very concerning. But April, there was a rebound, I think, for a number of reasons. Maybe some of you weren't able to get to us in March and you figured out how to get to us financially in April. For others of you, maybe you just saw that there was a need and you responded. And then, maybe it was just a sense of like, I'm not sure what I can do right now, but I can give. And so we did see a bit of a rebound. And so when we look at March and April together, there was only a 13% decrease over last year at that same period. Yet in March alone, it was over 30%. So we are seeing a rebound. We're still behind, of course. We're not tracking the way we were last year, but we've made adjustments. And so the church has never gone into the red. And we continue to manage the funds to the best of our ability. And I'm appreciative of the leadership team in giving me the freedom to make some very difficult decisions with their support. So I want to now just turn to looking ahead. As we look ahead, we heard Premier John Horgan talking about a reopening, a phased reopening, that we're in phase 1 now, and after this long weekend that's coming up, many of you might be listening to this following that long weekend, there's going to be a reopening. And I want to say that the church never closed. What I mean by that is the building is closed, but the church has been open all this time. In terms of us doing good work, in terms of us providing ministry, in terms of us reaching out to the people who are a part of our church and reaching to those in need beyond. The church has never been closed. The building has been closed, but the church has always been open. And so I want to say that as I share with you the truth and the reality that we will not be reopening the building as though it seems from John Horgan's message to us. We will not be opening the building anytime soon. Now, I want you not to be discouraged by that. I just want you to know that we are committed to walking hand in hand with our government and walking hand in hand with our community. We're in this together. And we understand fully that the business world has to go first. We understand that. We understand that we as a church are called to serve. And so in order to serve, we need to make room. I like the way one preacher said it to his congregation just recently. He said, we don't want the church place to hurt the workplace. You see, when businesses thrive, the church can thrive. When your personal finances are good, the church benefits, and then we can work together in global work and so on and so forth. We have big plans for our church, and we believe that we'll get back to that. We are not closing the building forever. But for the time being, we will have to remain closed. With the restrictions of gatherings of 50 or under 50, that puts us at a complete disadvantage for meeting. The size of our building in the Victoria location requires many, many people just to open up the building for a Sunday service. It requires a lot of team and a lot of support from the staff. And so then if you add those numbers to any group that would be coming in, we would be so few, and it would feel quite isolating and cold in the facility. And so we have determined that until there is a greater number allowed in a particular place, even with social distancing, that we will not be opening the building. So if the numbers change, if we move into like a phase 3 and there's different numbers that are being thrown around in terms of how large of a gathering you can have with social distance, then of course we'll reconsider that. But for the time being, we will not be reopening the building. So our hope is that we can take a step into greater relationship and into greater success in areas like small groups. And so I want to give small group leaders and small groups a few considerations. Number one, could you do an outdoor gathering that's well under 50, but that's in your backyard with your small group so that there can still be social distancing, but people can be together face to face? Is it possible that you could meet midweek with your small group and then on Sunday break down into smaller groups and double your bubble and have some time together to watch the sermon together, to watch church together, to worship together? I want to encourage you to get creative, but I also want to encourage you to move at the pace that's comfortable to everyone. So if people are saying, you know what, I'm just not comfortable yet to move into that level of contact, that's fine. There may be some members of the small group that feel that they want to do that, but others that don't. So I'd really encourage you, small groups, continue to meet through your Zoom, continue to meet online, but then you can begin to supplement that with other types of gatherings as your group feels as though they feel safe and prepared to do so. So move at everyone's pace and respect everyone's need and everyone's comfort level. I want to talk about annual meeting. Our annual meeting was already supposed to have happened. Obviously, we didn't do that. We can't gather. But I want you to know that we are shooting for an online annual meeting in the month of June. In the month of June. That's right, June the 22nd, which is a Monday night, we are shooting to do an online annual meeting. And so I'm going to encourage you, if you will, if you are a member, would you please go to the website and fill out your membership affirmation for this new year. And also on that form, you'll be able to give us some suggestions, some nominations for the leadership team. Those are needed now. And so if you could please move to doing that right away, we would really appreciate it. We're going to have to work with a little bit of more of an extended timeline because we've got to get things to you in the mail and through email and so on so that you can have what you need for the meeting. There'll be an app that you'll sign into that will give you the opportunity to vote. We'll be using maybe our church online platform for the actual annual meeting. Everyone is welcome to attend, but only members who have registered ahead of time will be able to vote. So please watch for this information coming to you through the newsletter, via email, and in the mail as well for others. So we need nominations for the board, for the leadership team, and your membership affirmations by the end of May, please, if you can help us with that. Many of you have asked about the building project. Well, of course, we're managing our funds and we're trying to be very careful. We also recognize that some funds have been set aside specifically for the building project. We're doing our very best and have continued to honor that to this point. What that has meant for us is we have continued on with the remediation part of the project. In other words, there is asbestos in the building and we had opened up walls and then we had to shut everything down. But that asbestos has now been exposed to air, even though it's in an enclosed area. And we didn't feel comfortable to leave that in sort of that state. So the leadership team made the decision to continue on to invite the asbestos removal company back in to finish up that part of the building project. And then the rest of the project is on pause as we continue to consider when would be a good time to restart that project. If we have an extended time where we're not using the building and our funds have recovered, it would really be an excellent time to start again in the building project. We could move much quicker through the phases of that building project as funds are provided. So we'll keep you posted on that. Some have asked about what are we doing in the community. We've always had a wonderful street breakfast. Unfortunately, it does not work with social distancing. And so all meals have gone to-go meals. And we're finding that many people are receiving those to-go meals somewhere else. What was so beautiful about what we provided was the community, the safety, the quality of the food. And so people aren't necessarily looking for us to feed them right now at the church at a street breakfast. So we've watched the numbers decline as we've tried to provide to-go meals for people. And so we've determined that we're not going to do that right now, but we're going to continue to partner with agencies that are having success in feeding people with to-go meals. And also we're going to continue to do our fresh food hampers, feeding between 30 and 40 families every week with a bag full of groceries provided to us through the Mustard Seed Food Bank. They have a large warehouse where they get food. We then take it and we find homes for that fresh food. And so if you know a family in need, if you are a person in need, would you please reach out to us, let us know, because we want to provide food for those who need it. We want to continue to meet that felt need. Just a word about campuses. Obviously, our campuses right now are all online, Facebook, YouTube, and Church Online. None of our campuses are open either. And we won't be opening those campuses as long as the restrictions are where they are. Under 50, we will not be reopening any of our campuses. But I want you to look for activities and online gatherings that are specific to your campuses. Esquimalt will not be launching in September. We look to a January date now as we've been pushed through this time frame in such a unique way. So we're really hopeful that we would be able to launch in January as restrictions lift. We'll continue to keep you posted. A word about Next Generation, and then I'll wrap it up for you. Next Generation, which is our kids and our youth. Our kids ministry continues to provide curriculum online, a Sunday online experience, a wacky Wednesday craft or little piece for them to enjoy. And we're working to continue that online experience and that online service to you. Youth are also meeting online, but they're doing it in very unique ways through social media and so on. And they're highlighting a lot of their leaders, and they're putting a lot of content out there. There's a 1-minute sermon every week from Steph, who is our youth director. And that pattern will continue through the end of June, as sort of that's our normal flow. And then we're going to look to summer activities with hopefully more connection points as restrictions lift. So hopefully we're going to begin to see a few more youth activities through the summer. One of the things that's very disappointing to have to share with you is that the News Bay Camp has made an official decision that they will not be providing camps this summer because of the pandemic. And so that's a big hit to us. That's a loss for us. And so we're monitoring that. We want to support the camp. The summer camps generate a lot of income for the camp, so we're concerned about that, and we're going to be working with our camp board to see if there's a way that we can support them financially as funds are provided. And then also, we want to be thinking about our own people, our own youth and kids, and even those that would participate in like a family camp, or Ignite always does a camp. Right now, all of those are on hold. But if there's a way later in the summer that we could pull something together, we would really be open to that because we know the benefit of those camp experiences. And so we'll watch the timelines and we'll respond, and we may respond quickly if the opportunity is afforded to us. So I want to encourage you as I wrap up that you will be hearing from me regularly on reports. They won't be this lengthy because we've done a big catch up right now. But I want to tell you, use our website. Use our website to share your stories. Use our website to ask for prayer. Connect with us through the website or call the church. We will always be there. Listen, as I said, the building might be closed, but the church isn't. We want to provide care for you. We want to minister to your need. We want to provide food where you need it or prayer where you need it. We've still been doing small little weddings and providing opportunity for people in those important stages of life. And so we want to be the church, and we want to love you through this time of crisis. So thank you so much for listening to this update, and I'll look forward to another one with exciting news in just a very, very short time. God bless you.